I don't get the idea, and like I like the fact again that Brad Treliving came out a couple weeks ago and tempered expectations. Like I don't think they're going big game hunting, and I think that's the right play. If you look at recent history and guys who have put teams over the top, it's like that Swiss Army knife type guy. Like I always bring up Arturi Lehkonen with Colorado,
Yeah.
Ivan Barbashev, a guy I'm really looking at. I don't think they'll ever do it, but like Trent Frederick just strikes me as that guy. If he gets dealt this year, can be that type of over the top player. Do you agree?
He could be. Yeah, certainly. And that's why so many teams want him. Vancouver's been trying to get him all season.
Mhm.
He's the kind of player that yeah, definitely brings that different element to your game. But there's another player out there in Seattle that not a center but a winger, Chris's brother. Like you bring in Brandon Tanev, he's the guy that provides that extra spark physically, can keep up with the pace of play for most of the game, especially come playoff time when it tightens up, and he can get you that key goal every now and again. Like if I'm Toronto and my options are limited at the center position, and they've got Yanni Gord, that'd be a perfect fit from a third line perspective. Um, but I'm almost, if I'm comfortable with who I have up the middle from a 3C role perspective, and the prices for a 2C are too high. I mean, Brandon Tanev's a guy that I'd be jumping at.
I like that. Do you think there's any chance, and maybe not because of the price tag with Gord, but that they can get Gord and
Uh,
Tanev?
well, it's not just from an acquisition cost perspective. It's how the hell do you fit that in the cap?
Yeah,
Like you're
exactly.
going to need Seattle to eat half on both of these guys.
Mhm.
Even from Gord's side of things, he's got a $5 million cap hit. You eat half, that's 2.5. You're still kind of tight unless you're moving out, um, Robertson in another deal.
Yeah.
Like they don't have a significant amount of cap space. So to try to pull that off, um, to get both guys, and I'm just trying to figure out what Tanev's cap hit is. I can't remember. I think it's five something or around that.
Yeah.
Um,
But that's the thing
but
too, is like that's why it makes more sense that they wait until closer and closer to the deadline. We talk about Brandon Pridham, but like this is his time to shine, isn't it?
oh yeah, well like
Yeah.
you're taking advantage of your cap. Excuse me, just to correct myself, I was off.
Yeah.
$3.5 million cap hit for Brandon Tanev.
There
Like
you go.
that's almost
Yeah.
even more attractive,
Yeah.
to try to add him to the mix. So again, if you can't upgrade yourself up the middle and you feel comfortable with who you have in the 3 seat, Tanev for me, uh, I mean that's a prime target if I'm treating the rest of this group.
Honestly, like Dave, the more I think about it, I don't want to say go all in because I hate that expression, but Scott Laughton just is too perfect for this team. But I don't see Philadelphia dealing this guy unless you give him a king's ransom, right?
Yeah, it's a first round pick.
Yeah.
And A, Toronto doesn't have it this summer, and B, that's a high price. And he's another one though, and he is interchangeable. He's played a lot of the wing this season,
Yeah.
more than center, but he's obviously capable of playing center. He's been the center for a while. But you've got someone on the left side, and that's a $3 million cap hit. Like that's without question, plus local kid, so that's a bonus. Um, but I don't know. I don't think they want to cough up that price. They could have had Scott Lawton in each of the last 2 years. Like Philly offered him up to Toronto after they first inquired, but it was a first round pick and a little extra. They didn't want to pay
Yeah.
the price. I think it was at the draft as well. The draft in Nashville, there was a deal that was offered up, first round pick for. There might have been another piece for Lawton. Toronto said no, and the price hasn't changed. And based on his capabilities and his cap hit, I mean, if I'm Briere in Philly, why would I change it? Why would I get off that position?
Yeah, it seems like every team wants this guy too, and I sort of hate that from the Leafs perspective. But all in all, I'm really fascinated to see what direction they go. Because again, we've talked about this a lot doing this show together. But Brock Nelson's a guy I would love. I just don't know. I think there's going to be a massive bidding war for him. And again, I'm with you. Brandon Tanev makes a lot of sense. Montreal, they fall out of this thing. It just doesn't feel like they're going to. Jake Evans is another guy who I think is going to garner a shit ton of attention between now and March 7th. But that's
Yep.
the way I think you have to look if your Brad Treliving is firming up that bottom six. So you assume that, a guy like Yarncroke's going to come back. So maybe that's one guy. You need at least one more, if not two more guys. Like I wouldn't be shocked if they completely remodel their bottom six between now and March 7th. Would you?
And again, you can pull that off in the right way,
Yeah.
um, if you're utilizing the cap in the right way. Like you're going to take a little bit of you're going to have to eat. You're going to probably have to eat. You're going to have to give up more in order for another team to eat some of that money because they don't have a ton of cap space. Like they're sitting at 1.3 right now, but that's with Yarncrook
Yeah.
on LTIR and Hakanpää. Like you're going to have to be creative in getting both of these guys into the lineup. And then at the same time, you're going to have to create additional cap space in order to bring in somebody else. Now, Jake Evans, $1.7 million cap hit. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But the Habs know that. And the price tag is going to be pretty high for him as well, based on what he's produced offensively this season and that cap number. Like guys that are great fits that have lower cap hits, the price tag is up because of those dollars. So, and that same with Tanev. Like it's not going to be a 5th round pick for the guy out of Seattle. You're going to have to pay a decent price for it.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosa. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.